In this half hour with sneaker culture. The shoes we call sneakers were invented a century ago. So named because their rubber soles let the wearer sneak around quietly. Well, these days, sneakers of all types, for basketball, tennis, running, and so on, are also high-priced status symbols, a multi-billion-dollar industry in this country alone. And as Vladimir Duthiers shows us, you can even find them in art museums.
Footwear as works of art? That's the premise of an exhibition at the Brooklyn Museum called The Rise of Sneaker Culture. Lisa Small curated the exhibit.
Sneaker culture is sort of this all-encompassing universe, really, for sneaker collectors. Their connections to sports, to music, and I think most especially the drive and the mania to collect the next new release.
Sneaker enthusiasts, better known as sneakerheads, will spend thousands of dollars on their vast collections of must-have shoes and special limited editions.
So when you own a pair of really cool sneakers that maybe just a few are around, it is kind of an art piece.
For sure. And when you think about the artistic design process, a lot of these shoe designers are ex-car designers or architects or industrial designers.
Jeff Staple, designer and proud sneakerhead, collaborated with Nike to create the limited edition Pigeon Dunk SB sneaker in 2005. It is now a centerpiece of the exhibition.
Did you ever imagine that sneakers would be part of an art exhibit at a world-class museum like the Brooklyn Museum?
Never. I mean, it's
sneakers.
Yeah, we were the outcasts. We were the nerds.
Staple has been a sneaker junkie since he was 12 years old, and his taste in shoes is impeccable.
We're both wearing Converse.
Yeah.
You've got the old version. I've got the brand new Converse 2s that just came out.
Yep.
We might be wearing the same brand, but our collections are very different. I don't own 2,000 pairs of sneakers. Staple does.
Can you trace back first your love of sneakers? When was it that you saw a pair of sneaks and you were like, man, I gotta have those?
The first one that did it, I remember it vividly, was the Air Jordan 3. And I remember walking into my 6th grade social studies class. I walked in with these shoes and everyone looked at me because I was late, and then they looked down at my feet. Afterwards, kids were like, what are those? Where are those? You know, and I was like, this feeling I'm gonna replicate for the rest of my life. You know, I just knew that I was ahead from that point on.
I thought aesthetically it was going to be really cool, right, to throw a wall in your house.
David Friendly, the filmmaker behind the documentary Sneakerheads, credits NBA legend Michael Jordan with setting off the sneaker craze.
This you can buy. You cannot do this. Can.
When you look back, he's made more money last year selling sneakers in 1 year than he did in his entire NBA career. You can trace it back to Michael Jordan. In 1984 was the debut of the Jordan 1. And I think that's when the whole thing exploded.
From sports to music to Hollywood.
Power laces, all right.
Sneakers became a status symbol. Run DMC's iconic song, My Adidas, which blended hip-hop with sportswear, forged a style that remains popular today. But as the demand for sneakers grew, they also became more exclusive and harder to get. That's when things started to run afoul.
I certainly was surprised that there was significant violence attached to some of these releases.
This is the one that started it all. This is the Nike
the
Pigeon Dunk, the original one.
The first of those releases was Jeff Staple's creation, the Nike Pigeon Dunk SB, which was dedicated to New York City. Even before the release date was made public, people started forming lines outside his store.
This home video shows the scene outside the Reed Space Store on the Lower East Side yesterday.
Were you expecting the reaction?
No. So we were just thinking, yeah, this will be cool. We'll release this and they'll sell, hopefully.
It was sort of a frenzy and a big kind of a ruckus.
Yeah, there were people that came. They were sort of waiting across the street and on the four corners. And they knew they weren't going to get a shoe. They were waiting for the kids who got a shoe to get it from them. Oh, wow. Yeah, and they had baseball bats tucked under their jackets.
10 years later, the asking price for that shoe is up to $8,000. Evidence that the sneaker culture continues to march on.
It is a $42 billion a year business. It's hard to imagine it growing much bigger, but it's definitely something that has not hit the top yet.
Thank you. How are you doing?
For CBS This Morning Saturday, I'm Vladimir Duthiers, New York.
And the sneaker exhibit will be at the Brooklyn Museum through